everybody. Now, I guess the phone stopped recording. I was making a video. Hold on a second. I was making a Periscope video. That's the video. The video I'm referring to is the video that's right below this one in my account, in the profile. Okay. And it was about 34 minutes long, and then all of a sudden, I was still talking, and then all of a sudden, the phone froze. Okay. So I got cut off from my statements pertaining to what I was presenting in that video. So this is a continuation of that video. That's why I put video 2, GangStalking Torture Exposed, in the title of this Periscope video, along with the same tweet link that is incorporated within the first video. So this is a continuation of that video. The only way that you're going to completely be able to comprehensively see what I state in this video, the only way that you're going to be able to make complete sense of it is by watching the first video, and that's the video that's right below this one in this account that says GangStalking Torture Exposed, and then it's got a tweet link attached right after that text title. Now, so this is a continuation of where I left off at in this video, in that video. So, if anybody comes on this property or starts congregating around me while I'm making this video, or at any time while I'm on this property, at any time I'm on it, in the next 72 hours, it will be directly connected to GangStalking. I don't give a shit what is said within 100 feet of me or in my direct physical presence. I don't care what transpires or results, and I don't care who it is, including police. Okay? If you don't think that GangStalking criminal expeditions do not stage probable cause, so the police have a normal appearing reason to come on the property where you're at, I suggest you Google it. Staged events in GangStalking are called street theaters, so that term can be Googled to GangStalking, so you can see that street theaters are nothing but staged events and staged harassment. Now, fellow American citizens, the reason why I'm making this video is because as a result of me being cut off at the tail end of the last video, I was still talking as I got cut off. So this is a literal continuation of where I got cut off at. So you're going to have to watch that video before listening to what I got to state in this one. And trust me, it's a good video. Okay, so where I left off at in the previous video is I was talking about how B2K, remote neural monitoring, ultrasonic sound transmissions, technology, and the microwave hearing effect are basically 4 separate technologies, including also the silent sound spread spectrum, are 5 technologies that all are incorporated within a mainframe. And each of the functions of these separate technologies are incorporated to work together with the remote neural monitoring. Okay. In order for an individual to be able to experience voice-to-skull transmissions, the brain already has to be mapped. The audio cortex. In order to map the audio and visual cortex, you have to be able to, in order to hack into it, in order to transmit visual pictures in the target's visual cortex, in order to induce artificial dreams. That's all over the internet. It's being a capability of remote neural monitoring exposed by thousands of victims all over the internet. Okay, I know you never heard of this before, dude. Just trust me. Google it and YouTube it. It's all over the internet. I mean, you gotta watch the previous video right below this one in this account. Now, in order for any GangStalking victim, because you can be, also know this, you can be a GangStalking victim without the community-based harassment. I also forgot to mention in the first video, but I have mentioned this in the previous videos that I've made in this account, that they will not only engage in voice-to-skull transmissions, but they can also clone the target's voice and then transmit dialogue using V2K, okay, into the target's audio cortex, so the target literally believes they're having their own thought. In other words, you literally hear me state right now, I'm going to go to Walmart after I make this video so I can buy a pair of pants and a shirt. They can literally incorporate your voice print, put it into the computer, and then transmit B2K transmissions using your voice print to transmit that statement into your audio cortex, and as a result, you think you're having a thought to go to Walmart. That's called voice cloning and GangStalking, voice cloning and remote neural monitoring. So, fellow American citizens, I strongly suggest you research that, because John Hall, who's all over the internet at YouTube, you can go to YouTube and type in John Hall satellite terrorism to watch his YouTube videos, and not every single thing that John Hall states is accurate, though. I already know for a fact. Like he exposes that your average community psychiatrist doesn't know about this crime. Trust me, when you're a gang stalking victim, any doctor that you look up on the internet that you might go to see has already been informed that you're coming before you go. Even Brian 2 has exposed that in his YouTube videos. So go to YouTube and type in Brian 2, T-E-W, okay, in gang stalking. And because this is a crime that is perpetrated by the government, including alphabet agencies. Targets of this crime are tracked in real time at all times. So, and since our internet activity is monitored and cyber surveilled at all times, they can see what lawyer we're looking up to go to. They can see what doctor we're looking up to go to. They can see what store we're looking up to go to. They can see when we're ready to take a vacation or go to a law firm or any place we want to go. And they do have the legal mechanisms. Okay, our NSA letters being used to protect these crimes and to influence lawyers and law firms not to take any case that the target may approach them with, in hopes that they will take a case for the target. Okay? I strongly suggest you research that extensively, because it's all over the internet. You know, when you research at YouTube, Coast to Coast AM radio show, electronic harassment, you're going to eventually see a YouTube video on there concerning Mike Bell and Roger Tulsis being on the Coast to Coast AM radio show covering gang stalking, and you're going to literally be able to see Mike Bell exposing the fact that he wrote a book called The Invisible Crime. You can Google that right now. You can also Google the book. There's a book called Remote Brain Targeting, written by Renee Pittman. There's also a book titled Electronic Torture, Electronic Rape Technology, and Gang Stalking at the Post Office, written by Jewel Cran. And there's hundreds of other books. But you didn't know about it because you don't know about these crimes. You can be a victim of gang stalking without the open community-based harassment. And this is usually where they want to get a hold of you to infiltrate your life so they can, act like your friend, including intimate infiltration. They'll infiltrate your family, Google that. Okay? And this is so they can take you down a road physically where you end up being exploited. Okay? But if you're being subject to gang stalking community-based harassment, you're going to learn immediately not to trust anybody. Okay? That's another reason why this crime is so devastating. You can be hit with this technology, and your life can be infiltrated through respectable environments like churches, charities, self-help groups. You can be funneled to places through homeless shelters after they creatively, covertly make you homeless. You had no clue that it was intentionally done. And then they'll prop up people along your routes to act like they'll come to your rescue, or that you can depend on them. And it's done to foster fake relationships, so you can eventually be steered to the exploitation. Absolutely. They did it to me in Michigan. Absolutely. Hold on. So all my descriptions can be Googled. Okay. So you gotta watch the first video, the one that's below this one in this account. Now that video, I literally stated in it, if this video stops at any time, still research what I stated up to that point if the video stops. And it stopped at 34 minutes. So this is a continuation of that video. The tweet link that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video is the same tweet link that's incorporated within the title of the first video, which is right below this one in this account. Now, so that's why I labeled video 2 in the title of this Periscope video. So, what I didn't get to state in that first video was the fact that, why did I incorporate the YouTube video remote neural monitoring within the tweet link? Why did I incorporate a blog concerning targets? You know, the Target store, you know, the retail store Targets, okay, which is all over the United States. Here in San Diego, in California, in I think it was 2013 or 14, their intercom system got hacked. You'll understand why I'm telling you this in a minute. Now, you can Google this when you get done watching this, and a link concerning that fact is incorporated within the tweet link, along with 2 snap screenshots as well. Okay? Now, why am I telling you this? Because when you get to the YouTube video that's also incorporated within the tweet link of this Periscope video title, you'll see a remote neural monitoring video, a video that exposes some of the capabilities of remote neural monitoring. But make no mistake about it, it's nothing compared to what remote neural monitoring factually is. Absolutely. Absolutely. So just bear with me and you'll understand the point I'm making here in a minute. Yeah. all this noise go by me. So Targets here in California, the retail store Targets had their intercom hacked. And guess what was played over it for every customer and employee in the store to hear? Sounds from a pornographic movie. It was all over the news. It was covered in newspapers and everything. In fact, the link that I incorporated within the tweet that's in the title of this Periscope video is from the BBC covering it, and that's England. Okay. Now, why am I telling you this? Because when you look at the YouTube video, remote neural monitoring, that I also incorporated within the tweet that's in the title of this Periscope video, you're going to see that one of the capabilities of remote neural monitoring is to hack into any electronic device. Now, when you look at my statements in the first video, you're going to clearly hear me state that voice-to-skull technology, ultrasonic sound transmissions, okay, and remote neural monitoring are three technologies that are incorporated within a mainframe, and the functionalities of each one work hand in hand together. In order to be able to transmit voice-to-skull transmissions into a target's audio cortex for them to hear, they obviously already had the target's brain remotely neurally monitored, because you cannot hack into an audio cortex without knowing the biomagnetic resonance frequency of the brain in order to piggyback on that to get to the audio cortex, including also, though, ear implants can be used for it as well. Okay? Now, so it's called the computer to brain link, okay, in the remote neural monitoring files that are on Google. So this is all over the internet. You better watch that other video. So check this out. In the remote neural monitoring YouTube video that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video through the tweet link, okay, you're going to be able to see in the remote neural monitoring video that it flat out states that this technology can not only hack into the brain, which is all over the internet being exposed by Robert Duncan, ex-CIA scientist, YouTube Dr. Robert Duncan and Brian Tyrone Do YouTube video. Okay, now they're both having an interview and exposing this, so you want to look at the video that's about 43 minutes long. Okay, so they're exposing voice-to-skull transmissions. They're exposing voice cloning, like I've already talked about. Hold on. Okay, and a bunch of other stuff. Now you can also go to Google and type in the Soul Catcher Robert Duncan and look at all the information he's got, the matrix deciphered and everything. Okay, just trust me, do what I tell you to do. So, moving forward, in this YouTube video concerning the remote neural monitoring, it clearly states that they can hack into electronics. Like, it even shows that they're hacking into radio police scanners. Okay, police officers' radios in their vehicles. I've seen the YouTube videos of actual police scanner, the radio in a police car being hacked with this technology. Now, why am I incorporating this? If a target individual is being hit with voice-to-skull transmissions and also ELF weapons, which is part of the ultrasonic sound transmissions, which means that you hear sounds of people talking in your environment. John Hall exposes this in his YouTube videos. Okay. Let me just get back to John Hall for a second. John Hall tries to make it appear that doctors don't know about this shit or about gang stalking. They do. When it comes to gang stalking victims, every doctor that the targeted individual comes in contact with has already been notified before that target ever reaches that office. That includes court doctors, private psychiatrists, and psychologists in area neighborhood hospital psychiatric floors. I already know that a Dr. Fisher from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, was contacted and told what to diagnose me with before I ever had that visit with her on June 9th, 2009, and any subsequent visit I had with her. I have no doubt in my mind at all. No doubt in my mind at all. An individual that was directly connected to the gang stalking of me took me there. Absolutely, and I was already being massively gang stalked for years. Okay. The open gang stalking of me started in 2002, but they had already infiltrated my life going all the way back to 1989. Literally. Now, I've seen individuals or targets of this crime being targeted for 60 years. So you better research what I've stated. So, John Hall's not telling the whole truth. In fact, if you went to YouTube and typed in "stalked in San Antonio," you're going to see two women being covered on the news in San Antonio. concerning them being targeted with gang stalking, both raped in their own homes. John Hall is literally in the news broadcast, and it literally shows him stating that he was exposure, though, concerning facts, other facts concerning this crime. So you can go to YouTube and listen to John Hall satellite terrorism. Never ever, and police know exactly what's going on. So if you ever hear him say that your average police officer don't know what's going on, that's bullshit too. I already know for a fact. I know it for a fact. Okay, absolutely, through experience and educated knowledge, and this educated knowledge comes through 10 full years of research, non-stop research. Okay, so of other thousands of other victims' testimonies. Now, hear me out. Now, if you're experiencing voice-to-skull transmissions in the way that I've described in this video, and the way that you're going to see being described when you research what I state in this video, and in the other video is massive. You gotta watch it. Okay. If you're experiencing voice-to-skull transmissions, you can use a tape recorder, okay, to block out what they're transmitting. And how's that? Because two reasons. One, they're already hacking into the target's audio cortex. If they're hacking into the audio cortex by itself with no ear implants, that shows that they can do that without the ear implants. If they're doing it through the ear implants, I already know for a fact that my ears are being manipulated. I know it for a fact because I feel electronic stings in them and massive pressure when it's happening, and a long sustained tone that lasts about 10 to 15 seconds every time. Okay? Now, there's ear implant diagrams and pictures within my Twitter tweet chain that's attached to the tweet that's attached to the title of this Periscope video. And I'm aware this is a lot to digest, and I apologize for that, but just trust me, you better research what I'm telling you. If you're being hit with voice-to-skull transmissions, and you take a tape recorder and you put it to your ear, I put this to my ear for at least to block out all the noise harassment that I'm subject to through the community-based harassment, which is the gang stalking. But see, tape recorders run on a low inductive rate, meaning they run on the same frequency that the V2K transmissions are being transmitted through. So if you put this up to your ear, if you're a gang stalking victim, you can get one of those. You know how like you go into a store, any type of store, like a Rite Aid or a CVS or a Sports Authority or a Walmart, and you see those headlamps that you can put on your head, like for camping, and you got the little band. I took this off of one of my headlamps, and then I tied a rubber band around it, and so I can put the tape recorder within the rubber band, put the headband on, and put it up against my ear to at least block out the noise harassment I endure at wooded areas propped up around me. So you can go to Google and type in retrofitted vehicles and noise harassment and gang stalking, where they'll intentionally retrofit a car or a truck so the mufflers roll loud, and then they'll go by you, and it's so loud, it's literally louder than you screaming, because I've already tested it as I was experiencing it. Literally. Hold on. Alright, now. So, tape recorders run on the same inductive rate, meaning the same frequency. The frequency that operates this and the sound that comes out of it runs on the same frequency that the V2K and the ultrasonic sound transmissions run on. So if you put a tape recorder up to your head, I suggest you don't play music. I'll tell you why about that in a minute if I remember to. Just tape a favorite radio show. Put it up to your head, put it up to your ear, and put tissue in your other ear. Okay? So if you want to at least just block out the noise harassment you're being subjected to, and that'll block out any V2K transmissions and the noise harassment. If you're trying to block out also voice transmissions, where they can literally project sounds in your environment, which John Hall's all over the internet stating, okay, because you can experience the wave transmissions, which are the ultrasonic sound transmissions, where you hear voices being popped around you in your environment to make you think that people are in the area, okay. John Hall's all over the internet exposing that through YouTube, so go to YouTube and type in John Hall satellite terrorism. So you're hearing sound through the noise community-based harassment propped up around you. You're hearing sound through V2K, and you're hearing sound through ultrasonic sound transmissions, which is John Hall calls satellite terrorism. Okay? So to block out the ultrasonic sound transmissions, put tissue in your ear. Put this up to your other ear, to block out the V2K if you're experiencing it, and or the noise harassment. Okay, and if you're being remotely neurally monitored, they know you're doing it because your subvocal speech is being monitored, and everything your visual cortex sees, they can see through the monitor of remote neural monitoring. So if they can see that you're blocking out, and also if you're playing something in your ear and your audio cortex has been hacked, they can hear what you're listening to. So if they want to keep you subjected to this torture, that's when they're going to, and they see you're blocking it out, they're going to start coming at you more directly physically through cops and staged events. And I'm talking about wooded areas that a target might be in. You understand what I'm telling you? My name is Leslie Williams. They may be homeless. I do frequent wooded areas. So, you better watch the other video. Because if you just watch this video, you might think to yourself, what the hell is this woman talking about? Understand. So, if you're playing a tape recorder to block out the transmissions, okay, or at least, because in the first video I talked about how you can go to Google and type in GangStalking, repeating words and phrases along your routes, repeating identical words and phrases along your routes. Google that to GangStalking, right? Then when you go to Google and type in voice-to-skull transmissions and how part of the transmissions are repeated harassment, including identical repeated harassment. I want you to think about what I just said to you. If you go to Google and type in how GangStalking, which is the physical community-based harassment, where physical people are used to harass you by and through, but not limited to, repeating words and phrases around you every day, like suck my dick and gangstalk, okay? Which is what they're doing with me. Okay, so that's being done through physical people around me along my routes and at wooded areas. It's been caught on thousands of audio files. It's been caught on in this Periscope account. Look at the live broadcast around May 2017, May 17, 2007, or May. Oh crap! I think it was May 8th, 2017, right around there. The ones that there's 3 videos in this account that they have no title. They're live broadcast. Listen for "suck dick" and "suck my dick" and "gangstalk" being said in them. You'll hear it. Okay. Now, just bear with me a second. If you went to Google and you typed in how gangstalking, which is the physical harassment you endure through physical people along your route, and how repeating identical words and phrases around the target is a method of physical gangstalking. Then when you go to Google and type in how voice-to-skull transmissions will transmit repeated abuse, repeated harassment. Do you think that's an accident? Because voice-to-skull is directly connected to gangstalking crime. You understand? So, I have exposed about how remote neural monitoring, through what's incorporated within the tweet link of this, that's incorporated in the title of this Periscope video, a YouTube video remote neural monitoring. It flat out states that they can hack into any electronics, and that's also stated in the remote neural monitoring files at Google, right? So if you say are experiencing at least noise community-based harassment, and you put up a tape recorder to your head to block it out while you got a tissue in your other ear, they can hack into your tape recorder and transmit "suck my dick" into it for you to hear it. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I strongly suggest you watch the first the video that's right below this one in this account. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully about what I'm about to say. If you haven't watched that video and you're just watching this one, you might think to yourself, this shit sounds completely bizarre. This woman's crazy. Well, first of all, understand and know. I've been on national radio shows exposing what I know concerning this crime. So have other victims of this crime been on national radio shows. This crime has been covered on local news broadcasts. It's been covered on national radio show. The show, the Jesse Ventura Brain Invaders, which you can YouTube right now and watch, is about gangstalking. The people that are called targeted individuals in that show is the same exact name that gangstalking victims are being called all over the United States and in other countries. TI, targeted individuals, is a word that describes gangstalking victims. It's all over the internet. And what's happening to these victims in the Jesse Ventura show, Brain Invaders, which you can YouTube and watch right now, okay, the directed energy weapons, where the victims are stating they're feeling electricity in their body. That's all over the internet to be directly connected to gangstalking. The individuals that are hearing voices in the Jesse Ventura Brain Invaders show, that's voice to skull. They just don't name the name of the technology. I don't know why, but they don't. You'll also see in that show about how a person who's trying to tape, they go to this one tower, right? Just hear me out. They go to this one tower, to try and, because they were told by this guy that's in the know in the government that Gwen towers have been activated for these campaigns, and you'll notice that repeaters are on them. You know how I said about how voice to skull transmissions will repeat electronic verbal statements? Okay? Well, when they get to the Gwen towers in the show, guess what gets infiltrated and manipulated and stopped? The audio of the cameras. You'll also notice a cop in the show, in the Jesse Ventura Brain Invader show, where the cop is talking to one of the individuals that is working together with a group with Jesse Ventura and investigating this crime. You'll also notice a cop in the show who's one of the victims. He'll state that he experiences hearing voices, and the guy says, "Well, what do they usually say?" And he says it's usually something negative, something demeaning, which I exposed in the first video, the one that's below this one in this account. And so they're standing together, and the guy's talking to this cop. Just hear me out. And he's talking to this cop, and the cop says, "Well, I don't hear it right now." And guess what goes by him in the background? A train, and then all of a sudden he hears it. So I strongly suggest that any time you extensively and thoroughly research how Amtrak and other public transportation trains have Wi-Fi. Then go to Google and type in Wi-Fi and B2K. Because they're radio signals can be piggybacked on with sound waves. Just like the ear implants are operating through radio signals, and sound waves are being sent to them, and whatever's projected through the sound. See, a radio wave is a signal, it's a frequency. They're projecting their sound and piggybacking it on that same radio frequency. As a result, the radio frequency is carrying the sound frequency. Just like when you turn on your radio, you hear sound. It's then projected to the ear implant in the ear, and what's projected to that is then projected into the audio cortex. Repeated nonstop harassment, day in and day out, nonstop. Day in and day out. The target literally has not 1 second of where they're not hearing anything. Literally. Okay. So you better watch what's in the previous Periscope video. This is video 2 of a 2-part video series. I got cut off in the first video. The first video is right below this one in this hunt. You better watch it. Okay. Now, and I want you to think about this as well before I got Do you really think, okay, that thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands and so on and so on and so on of victims who are all over the internet begging for help through politicians, governors, district attorneys, and police, people who have never spoke to each other but yet are sharing the same story. This crime is so bad, and it's exploding to the point to where the government cannot even contain it anymore. So they're allowing it to be marginally covered on the news. Okay, like you can go to YouTube and type in MSNBC Palm Springs, California GangStalking. You're going to hear a bunch of gay men talk about hearing voices. Okay, you're going to hear synthetic telepathy, literally even exposed by the news broadcaster reporter. And then you're going to conveniently see a doctor who's been brought on board in this news broadcast in order to discredit the victim's testimony. Ain't that convenient? So at any time, we can research how the media has been implicated to be involved in gang stalking. That's implicated in the book Cause Stalking by David Lawson. How do you think that this crime is being contained? You cannot torture thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and so on and so on and so on of American citizens all over the country, begging for help, but yet you don't know about it, and you don't know about it because the media is controlled. So at any time, you can research how 6 corporations control the entire media of this country, including all of their affiliates. Okay, so I apologize if this video seems a little intense, but I don't feel good today. I got a migraine again, okay? Anybody at any time can research directed energy weapons and migraines and gang stalking, okay? You better watch the first video, okay? It's right below this one in this account, because this is a continuation of that one. You're not going to extensively research the depth and scope. You're not going to be able to see accurately and in-depthly what I exposed in this video unless you watch that one. It's massive. It's massive. Alright, so write down the characters of the URL link that I incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. Write them down on a piece of paper, and then type them in at your URL address bar. To bring up the tweet link, look at the 2 snap screenshots, look at the 2 YouTube videos, and then look at the news article, and you will see truth. My name is Leslie Williams. I made this video to inform, to expose the truth. Hold on. Alright, I'm going to go. I'll probably make another Periscope video today. Please research what I stated and watch the previous video. Thank you.